Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats, the Renaissance Man, Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen. The Renaissance Woman, Mel Gedroych. And their captain, Dave Spikey. And facing them tonight, from Coronation Street, Deborah Stevenson. From California, IA, Scott Capurro. And their captain, Sean Locke. Now, warmly welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, a staggering 315 entries in America's Wexford Dictionary are misspelled? What a bunch of wuckfits. 2% of British women describe themselves as sexy. Yeah, it's about right. 13% of men have spent a night in jail. Coincidentally, 13% of men have been made love to on a bunk bed to the sound of a harmonica. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what they've been talking about this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the nation's top 5 most popular talking points. Dave, your team to go first. What do you think the nation have been talking about this week?
Is it the identity card bollocks scheme?
ID scheme bollocks, yes.
It's an immediate reaction originally to combat terrorism, and because that's going to work, innit, obviously. If it needs an ID card, it's going to wipe it out completely. A suicide bomber leaving home, locking the front door. Don't know why he's locking it, to be honest with you. So, have I got everything? Semtex, it's got the detonator, right? Got the map, got the car keys. Oh, shit, the identity card. The way you get one is to go and prove your identity like that and you take a passport or a birth certificate.
Yeah.
The 2 most regularly forged documents in the world.
Yeah. I think it must be something so simple. Everyone should have a catchphrase. You know, it's just like, it's only me. Come in, Mr. Enfield. You know? Everyone has a little Tim Henman. Out. Yes, you're in. So, what would your catchphrase be?
I think I've almost sort of got one. I say well done you an awful lot.
Well
so
done
catch
you.
myself going, well done you.
Yeah.
I don't quite know why.
Slightly patronising, that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
a little bit, yeah.
Well done, you. Off you pop. Yeah.
You've noticed that, Sean?
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
OK, should we have a look and see if ID cards one of the top 5 most talked about things this week? Yes, they were. They were the most talked about things. Sean, over to you. What do you think the nation has been talking about this week?
Well, I think people are getting very excited about the Live 8 concerts in Hyde Park. I think people are getting very excited. If anyone's lucky enough to have tickets for it, don't go to the toilet when Dido's on, because there'll be massive queues. But the thing I didn't know was that there's those gigs going all over the world, but all the African artists are doing this special gig in Cornwall. I thought, there's a lot of African people in this country. I don't think one of them lives in frigging Cornwall. And I'd like to see the instructions they get. You get to Heathrow, come out of the airport, turn left, and just keep going for about 7 hours. Don't get stuck behind a caravan, you'll never make it. Bob Geldof said, I'm not putting African artists on the bill in Hyde Park, because I think people will switch off. And I think it shows he's got a very low opinion of us. What does he think? Like, an African artist comes on, I go, oh, bollocks, it's an African, like that. Or should I tell world's maddest waiters on ITV? I'm not watching that.
It's really odd, though, how saving the world makes you look like hell, because he looks terrible. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
You think, growing green grass and saving starving people would make you look pretty or better or something. But the more he saves the world, the more he looks like Satan.
The G8 protests start next week. And basically, G8 protests are like Christmas for anarchists, aren't they? That's when they get really, whoo-hey! Yeah, we chuck stuff at the police, hey! They get very excited about that. That's all going to start next week.
So is that different to Live 8, G8?
Yeah.
Shit, I've got tickets for that.
What do you think, Deborah? Are you going to go?
No, I'm not going to go. I will have it on if I'm allowed. Because
What do you mean if you're allowed?
Well, usually I'm not allowed to put anything that I want on. It's got to be Thomas the Tank Engine or... Oh.
Is your partner a bit slow?
It's 2.5.
Well, let's have a look and see if Live 8 is one of the most talked about things this week.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of the Live Aid concert is set to be Sting singing Every Breath You Take, a song originally written about how much he misses the notorious B.I.G. With such an impressive musical lineup, it is easy to lose sight of what the concert's really about: starving Africans. It is a serious problem. But then again, they don't get our winters. Dave, over to you. What else have people been talking about this week?
I was going to say, on a musical theme again, I think people probably were talking quite a lot about Glastonbury.
I want to know why everybody I know that lives in Glastonbury calls it Glastonbury, and everybody who doesn't live in Glastonbury who goes there calls it Glastonbury.
Because they're not as posh?
Perhaps. I'm beginning to think that might be the reason.
Don't some people call it Glastonbury?
Glastonbury.
What, you mean the staff?
Yeah, the staff, yeah.
They're sweeping the fields.
Should we have a look and see whether Glastonbury is one of the most talked about things?
Please, let's... Oh, yes.
Yes, it was. Glastonbury was the second most talked about thing this week. Kate Moss almost got E. coli and dysentery from the disgusting toilets. That was before she left Pete Doherty's flat and went to the festival. Sean, over to you. What else have people been talking about?
There was a big thing in the papers, wasn't there, about the Diana, some new book about Diana's come out.
The woman who's written the book was Diana's astrologist, right?
No, I'm sorry, guys, she wasn't an astrologer. She was an energy healer.
Yes.
Is that an electrician?
Let's see if that was one of the most talked about things. Yes, it was the fifth most talked about thing this week. Just think, though, if Diana hadn't died, we wouldn't have that beautiful fountain in Kensington Gardens, and Paris wouldn't have that beautiful slow down sign. Right, now you've got one more to get. Fingers on buzzers.
Is it the celebrations of the Battle of Trafalgar? And they had a big flotilla, armada type thing in the Solent. The thing about it, I suppose, the thing that everyone noticed was that to not offend the French, they decided, rather than have it between the English and the French, they had the blue team and the red team. The idea was that so they don't offend the French. No. And I think it's a wasted opportunity to offend them. Wonderful opportunity to offend them. Because the French, they like being offended. All their facial muscles are designed to be offended.
When the battle finished, half of our boats came back with 50 cases of Stella, didn't they?
Well, I can tell you that the Battle of Trafalgar was not one of the most talked about things. It was actually the seventh most talked about thing this week. This week saw the reenactment of the Battle of Trafalgar to celebrate its 200-year anniversary. The reenactment wasn't a total success, and I'm sad to report the French have taken Plymouth.
Well, I reckon it could be Big Brother. What does anyone else think?
I don't know, I've
Back me up.
been a bit busy this week, smashing myself in the head with an iron. So I didn't get a chance to catch much of it. No, I'd lie, actually. I've been entrapped by it this week, because it's got very, very, very tetchy, hasn't it?
But they don't show enough. They show those two, that straight couple in bed rolling around under that duvet, but you don't get to see, you just see them like, you see lumps moving up and down.
No, there was more detail.
Oh, really?
There was an elbow going...
Oh, right. Is that what that was?
Yeah. I was watching very closely indeed.
It's like the porn you get in an Orkney's hotel, isn't it? The porn channel is just an elbow coming out of a duvet. £7.99 for this.
I don't understand why everyone seems to fancy Maxwell so much. He's got no top lip.
Yeah.
He's kind of...
Right, should we have a look and see whether Big Brother was one of the most talked about things this week?
Yes, well done.
Yes, it was. It's all heating up in the Big Brother house. Saskia and Maxwell were both up for eviction this week. I'm not surprised. They behave like they're the new Posh and Becks. In fact, they're the new Stuart and Michelle. Remember them? They were the new Paul and Helen. Right, well, that's the end of that round. I can tell you that Dave's team have 2 points and Sean's have 3 points. The next round is called the Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. This is from a Harris poll, August 1999. 13% of Americans are afraid of what?
Their own shadow. Because it'll be massive, won't it? Behind them. Jesus, what's... Oh, it's me.
Have you been to America?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
No.
But no, I think Americans are really afraid of...
If you can't say it, that's fine. Yeah. Is it making love to a woman, Scott?
Yeah. Is it?
You know, I have, you know, I've been with a woman.
Yeah, well, I've done loads of blokes. Oh, hang on.
All right.
I think what you're trying to say is that 13% of Americans are afraid of Bush.
Yeah.
I think they're afraid of going for a walk. Well, they don't. They drive everywhere. The only time you see an American out of his car is he's chasing a donut going down a hill. That's it.
You know, this is feeling very anti-American to me, this whole part of
Look,
this.
Scott,
I have
Scott.
something to say.
Scott,
Yeah.
think of it as friendly fire.
All right.
You were close with Bush, you were close with going for a walk.
Going for a walk with the president.
The answer is 13% of Americans are afraid of being alone in a forest. The other 87% are happily holed up in a log cabin with an M16 waiting for the federal government to fall. OK, only 7% of builders regularly what?
Pull the pants up.
Only 7% of builders regularly shout, "Oi, darling, I'd like to get to know you as a person."
To you.
Or say, stuff me, I finished a week early, I'll give you £2 back. It's not going to happen. Is it fall off ladders? Because they're thick as shit, aren't they, some of them? No, there should be a sign at the top of the ladder that says stop. Because
It's kind of refreshment related.
Come back from lunch.
Turn up sober.
Only 7% of builders regularly take tea breaks.
Oh,
Most prefer to add all their tea breaks together and turn up 2 weeks late. This is from a Police Review magazine survey from May 2005. 80% of British police want a what?
Slap.
I don't know. Friend? But I don't know anybody who's got a friend who's a policeman.
I've got an undercover friend. A friend who's an undercover policeman.
Who is he?
Well, he
What's
was.
What's he called?
I can't say because
No, no, what's he called?
He's undercover.
No, but tell us his name.
Compton.
Compton. Mr. Compton. What's it?
No,
Whereabouts
that's
is
his first name. He's really cool as well. I shouldn't talk too much about him because
He's
been...
called Compton.
Yeah, Compton.
Because he's now kicking the telly, going,
He's
he's
really
in a
cool
crack
as
den.
well.
He's in a crack den. They're watching this, and he's going, but then they go, you're Compton.
Sorry,
What are you doing? No! No, I actually got a picture of him here. There we go.
I've suddenly remembered. I've got a relation who's a copper, but he's a mounted copper in Canada.
You mean
Oh,
stuff?
yes.
I think I know him.
He's a mounted. Sorry, I just got that. Sorry.
OK, 80% of British police want a what?
They want a bigger truncheon.
It's sort of, you're along the
Yeah,
right
gun.
lines. A gun?
A gun.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's a stun gun.
Is it?
Yeah. OK, 62% of British men don't know their partner's what?
A man.
Maybe they don't know their partner's eye color. That's a hard one to remember.
I'm just trying to remember if my girlfriend's got eyes.
I'd imagine no. Pin number.
No, I'll give you a clue. Yeah, pin number, you're very close.
Partners.
Phone number. Mobile phone number.
Correct.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, 62% of British men don't know their partner's mobile telephone number. I don't need to know my girlfriend's mobile number. She rings me every 6 minutes. Yes, I still love you.
Blind bitch.
So, at the end of that round, it's 4 points to Dave's team and 5 points to Sean's team. It's time now for the League of Nations. This round is all about comparing us Brits to the rest of the world. I'll give each team a statistic relating to another country. All they have to do is guess if Britain came higher or lower in the same survey. Dave, it's your team to go first. Have a look at this.
You had a reputation for knocking out with a lot of girls.
Screwing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to put it delicately, yes.
Terry, I like screwing, all right?
Oh. All right. So what do you do with your time these days?
Screw.
I see. Ladies and gentlemen, George Best.
That was, of course, the greatest living Irishman, Terry Wogan, interviewing George Best to illustrate the Irish. And my question is, the Irish spend 21 minutes on foreplay. Do Britain spend more or less time than that?
I just have a bit confused. When does foreplay start? When do you start the stopwatch? When officially does it start?
I think starting the stopwatch often ruins the mood.
Yes.
Depends whether it includes my 15 minutes of begging. Really, pleading. No,
Does
it's a
that
difficult one.
include getting your credit card checked and everything? Because
I thought the Irish take 21 minutes because, well, you can't rush a Guinness, can you? And
They also love the crack.
it's got to be less, do you think?
I think it might.
21 minutes?
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
long time. That's 40 minutes a month.
So what do you think, Dave? What are you going to go for?
Less.
Well, in fact, the Brits not only spend more time than the Irish, but also more time than any other nation. We spent an incredible 23 minutes on foreplay. We're clearly too emotionally repressed to ask for sex, so we keep beating around the bush. What nation do you think spent the least amount of time?
Swiss?
The Swiss.
I bet they timed it beautifully, though, didn't they?
The Americans, one yank and they're off.
Well, in fact, the population of Thailand came bottom of the poll, spending just 11.5 minutes on foreplay. Me love you long time, indeed. Sean, here's your clip.
Security and prosperity of America are at stake. I actually did vote for the 87 billion. It is a choice.
Well, Sean, that was a clip of President Bush boring a child to tears in the crowd at the White House last year. My question is, 23% of American children dream of being their country's leader. Do you think a higher or lower percentage of UK kids dream of being the Prime Minister?
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming in America they don't have the same type of careers officers you have in this country. If you only see a careers officer in this country and you say something like, yeah, I'll be Prime Minister, they go, you know, there are new Tesco's up down the road there, yeah? Taking on all sorts. But the thing about, I don't think they really think this through, kids, because I mean, I wouldn't want to be Prime Minister because he's got 4 houses. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Because you're at Chequers, going for a swim, and you go, oh, I left my goggles at number 10. I know it doesn't sound that bad when I say it out loud.
I think Sherry Blair has turned off a lot of kids about wanting to be Prime Minister.
I don't think you'd have to keep his wife.
Oh. I mean, if you were Prime Minister, you'd think he'd find a hot wife. He can have any women he wants, and he gets stuck with a cartoon character face.
Yeah, the Prime Minister can get any woman he wants.
He can.
All the fine poontang of the Prime Minister.
You have to see him driving down the street going, hey, guess who I am? Get in the back.
I mean,
I'm the Prime Minister, ladies.
Yeah.
But back to the question. Do a higher or lower percentage of UK kids want to be the Prime Minister?
I'd say it's lower.
Well, you are right. Only 8% of kids dream of being Prime Minister. The percentage was much higher in America, primarily because of the American dream. America, where any humble son of a billionaire can one day get his daddy's old job. So at the end of that round, it's 5 points to Dave's team and 6 points to Sean's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls and surveys. It's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here's your first one. Best way to avoid talking to someone on a plane?
As soon as the flight starts, ask them if they have a personal relationship with Jesus.
Or what I always do is play an imaginary trombone. Or just put a blanket over your head and go.
Just look them in the eye and say, shut the fuck up.
If you start reading, they leave you alone, usually.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Yes, the best way to avoid talking to someone on a plane is reading. I think something light is normally best, maybe an Al-Qaeda pamphlet. This is from a survey featured in The Observer from December 2004. Kids' favourite thing in the world?
Is it an uncle with Tourette's?
I think it could be teachers with suggestive names, I think. I think it is, because when I was a kid in high school, our principal's name was Dildar Treadway. I got a lot of mileage out of that.
Crying in the pub. The kid in the pub the other day, crying. Mum, I went over and I said, have you smacked this child? And she said, no. And I said, why not?
kids' favourite thing in the world is fame. Andy Warhol, of course, said everyone would be famous for 15 minutes. Girls allowed have cheated by adding all their 15 minutes together. This one's from a survey by Orange from June 2003. A fictional character women would most like to meet.
Is it Big Dick Shagger? From When Good Nuns Go Bad.
You've never seen a porno, have you, Dave? That's world class.
Is it Dr. Alan Lovesoftly from the Mills and Boon novel Hospital of Love?
Oh, I've read that one.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Every fireball from Alan's Rigid Cannon. It's that one, isn't it? Yeah. Exploded like molten lava inside Pamela's fluttering love purse.
I reckon Mr. Darcy.
You're right.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Lawrence.
Yes, the fictional character women would most like to meet is Mr. Darcy. We know him best from the TV series Pride and Prejudice, which has also been made into a book. Footballers' most common superstition.
Tie your shoelaces together. That's quite unlucky.
Yeah. Is it don't eat a whole chicken just before the game?
Oh, I know.
With all the trimmings.
Don't pee into a test tube just before the game.
Two in the bed, nothing said. Add one more, you're on page 4. I don't know. Superstition.
You're along the right lines with sex.
Don't have sex before the game.
Correct.
Oh, well done.
Yes, footballers' most common superstition is no sex before the big game. This is a long tradition thought to have been started by Peter Beardsley's wife. Well, that sound tells me that it's the end of the round and the end of this evening's competition. The final scores are as follows. Dave's team have 8 points. Sean's team have 8 points. It's a dead heat. Everyone's a winner. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you at home for watching. That's all from us. Good night.
Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats. Direct from Glasgow, Frankie Boyle. Funny man, Alan Carr. And their captain, Dave Spikey. And facing them tonight, from the Friday Night Project, Rob Rouse. Lovable scamp, Ian Lee. And their captain, Sean Locke. Now, go crazy for your host, Jimmy Carr.
Good evening and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 1 in 20 people think that Conan the Barbarian is a real character? Does Professor Dumbledore not teach them anything? 1 in 10 women in the UK has a sexually transmitted disease. I like those odds. And 1 in 5 drivers don't understand road signs. This means you cut me up. Let's get started. We're kicking off with the What's the Poll round. I'm going to show you 5 people who are all popular answers on the same poll. All our panellists have to do is tell me what's the poll, OK? Here is your first clip.
And I don't want to be emotional, but it's one of the greatest moments in my life.
That was very much the high point of Nelson Mandela's career there, meeting the Spice Girls. What poll do you think Nelson Mandela might have appeared on?
Is it people who still don't see the funny side of the show Porridge?
Sadly, no.
Is it people who've never appeared on Through the Keyhole?
So, is it people who've inspired classic wrestling moves?
Is it a poll of people you can't really take the piss out of.
He's got a funny voice, though. We can laugh at that, can't we?
Well, you can, but if you've got any dignity or self-respect, you wouldn't.
He's got a funny voice, though, hasn't he? Is it people who used to have the first name free?
Is it people whose names are rhyming slang for drinks? Nelson Mandela, pint of Stella.
Isn't it quicker to just say pint of Stella? Well, I you said Nelson Mandela, the bloke served someone else, isn't he?
Is it people, if they had extensions, they'd look like a really old Beyonce?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
One point.
OK, let's have a look at the next person.
Jesus loves us. I can feel it in the soles of my feet, flowing up through my spine, into my heart, all through my veins, surging through my blood. The love of Jesus is quivering at my fingertips like electricity. Who will share it with me? Who wants to feel the love of Jesus? Yes. Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes. Hugh Grant there, playing a Scottish evangelist in A Very Peculiar Practice from 1986. So, Nelson Mandela and Hugh Grant, what have they got in common? What poll might they have appeared on?
Is it a poll of people who've met Jerry Halliwell but had no idea who she was?
Is it famous BMW drivers? Because I know Nelson, he bought one because he wanted the extra leg room, and you got one for the extra headroom.
Has Hugh Grant got a lot of community centres named after him? Is that a possibility? Am I close? I mean, we're working here. You're not even helping us.
You're kind of... We've touched along the right lines, but I'll show you someone else.
Hello, Moira. Hello.
Well done.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Well, I expect you want to be on your homeward journey now. It's straight through here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. And I think it's time for us to go as well. Hope you'll join us again next week for some more adventures. Until then...
That was Moira Stewart hosting the Adventure Game from 1980. Moira Stewart, Hugh Grant and Nelson Mandela. What poll do you think they might have appeared on?
Is it people who can remember exactly where they were when Nelson Mandela was released from prison?
Does she still read the news, Moira Stewart? Because I quite miss her.
She gets a paper some days, yeah.
She's a proper newsreader, though, isn't she? She's a journalist.
Yeah.
Right, as opposed to Kaplinsky. I hate... Natasha Kaplinsky, to me, looks like a businessman's wife, like a journalist. You know, I'd want my news read by someone who, if they entered a ballroom dancing competition, would definitely lose.
Kaplinsky also sounds like a kind of maverick New York cop that doesn't play by the rules to me.
Kaplinsky, put those donuts down and solve the case!
Is it something to do with, like, mumbling? Because she mumbled, hello, I'm Moira Stewart. And he's like, hello, I'm English, and then Nelson sounds a bit as if he's still behind the brick wall.
I would say no. You're along the right lines there, but I'll show you another one.
Why is it taking so long? Why haven't you been back here to...
So where were you 12 years ago? What were you doing?
School. At school, yeah.
At school. I've been working my ass off and you're at school. Terrific. You question me why I wasn't here? I've been all over the world working my ass off and you've done nothing. I'm underwriting you. Do you know that?
Oh. Sean Connery there getting grumpy with a journalist at a film premiere. At 74, Sean Connery now has a whole new range of gadgets. Pay attention, Bond. This isn't a normal bath. You can walk right in.
I like the fact that Sean Connery couldn't pronounce the word arse. I think he's got a great voice for swearing. Pish flaps.
He does have an incredible ability with accent, Sean Connery. The end of is it the end of Highlander 2? A very popular film, I'm sure. When he comes in at the end and says, "Hello, my name is Juan Carlos from Spain."
No.
Is it people who look like people out of Police Academy? Nelson Mandela looks like Hightower. She looks like, it's the stick-up. And Hugh Grant's the one who makes those noises. Game over. And even though he's white and the man was black.
Sadly, no. Right, let's have a look at your final person. That's Ronan Keating there on Ireland's Late Late Show, presumably doing some sort of gay exchange ad.
Is it to do with accents? They've all got a really quite an attractive-ish accent that, you know...
Moira.
Yeah.
Oh, good night. Well, wearing a gimp mask. Good night.
You were going to eat your words, Alan Carr, because Dave Spikey, you're absolutely right.
Oh.
They've all appeared on a survey of people with the most pleasant voices. It's surprising how many people in the top 10 had regional accents. Of course, I don't have an accent. This is just how things sound when they're pronounced properly. So, at the end of that round, it's 0 points to Sean, Rob and Ian and 1 point to Dave, Frankie and Alan. The next round is called The Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. Here's your first question. This is from an age concern study from January. 50% of the over 65s don't have a what?
Is it that 50% of over 65s don't have a real hip?
Is it 50% of over 65s don't have a clue why they went to the cupboard in the first place?
Is it 50% of over 65s don't have a chance against a panther?
Is it 50% of over 65s don't have a waist? As they get older, all men especially, the waist just get higher and higher, and the belt gets, the pants just get higher. 103, belt there, zip there. Hello, I'm 103.
And the only people I know, old people, they have trays over the bath. So they can organise the loofah and the soap, and it's all there. And then they need an emergency. There it is.
People still use loofahs. That's great, isn't it? That's an over 65 thing, a loofah, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not. It cleans your back.
I know, they're great.
It's a young man's thing, I would have thought, the loofah, surely, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a young man's thing. Yeah. A lot of the kids watching will be thinking, yeah, loofahs, yeah.
What is a loofah? What's a loofah?
Do you want to know?
That's a bloody funny
I
name.
know, because the worst Christmas present I ever got was a grow-your-own loofah kit.
Oh. That is quite bad, isn't it?
Whereabouts do loofahs live in the wild, then?
Underwater.
No, they don't. They grow on trees.
Is it like a sea cucumber when it's alive?
No, it grows on land. It grows on land. It's a vegetable.
And surely it's like a sponge and grows underwater, isn't it?
No, that's what I thought.
I disagree
it was.
with you.
Yeah, but you don't know fucking everything, do you?
Well, I think there should be a gardener special on loofahs then, if that's the case.
That's loofahs grow on trees. They're like a gourd. They're like a gourd.
A gourd?
What's a gourd?
I can't believe I'm working with these botanical ignoramuses.
I've never seen a loofah tree. If there were loofah trees...
Because you haven't seen...
Well, because they don't exist, that's why. If there were loofah trees, we'd know about them. They sound brilliant.
The reason you haven't seen one is because old people have taken them. Oh! I'll give you a clue. It's sort of about companionship.
Don't have a partner.
Is it a best friend?
Best friend is the right answer.
Oh!
This is from a survey featured in the Daily Mail, March 2005. 86% of bosses feel that what is a disadvantage in business?
Is it 86% of bosses feel that speaking in riddles is a disadvantage in business? My first is in piano, but not in canoe. Would you like to invest in my shipping company, Jimmy?
Yes, I would.
It is in canoe, isn't it? Look at your face when you went.
Is it incontinence? I know. Is it giving your firm one of them stupid punny names? That's a disadvantage. You know, like Specs in the City.
I saw one. They did haircuts and they had sunbeds, and it was called Tanzania.
The cleverest one's near the Tate Modern. Tate Modern. Have you seen it? That's clever, because that's like French. It's not funny, but it's clever, isn't it?
I think that would be an advantage in business because people are morons.
There's a great one in Bath, and it's a coffee shop, and they've got it slightly wrong because it's called Rhythm and Beans. If it was an off-line, it'd be Rhythm and Booze. Yeah, that's fine. But Rhythm and Beans, and you see people looking at it going.
There's a hairdresser near us, and the girl's called Valerie, and full march because it's called Val does her.
I can give you a clue.
Go on then.
It's you're sort of along the right lines when you said it was about how people speak.
Is it having a working class voice?
That's exactly the right answer. Yes, 86% of bosses feel that a working-class accent is a disadvantage in business. I've done all right. Strike a light. OK, 25% of Brits find what helps them nod off?
Listening to Clanad on heroin?
To marzipan. My mum, who was dyslexic, put to marzipan on our Christmas cake once.
A Bergerac box set.
Is it listening to your partner tell you about their day at work?
Is it nitrous oxide, anaesthesia? That'll help you nod off. Because I had anaesthesia, and you know when they say they give you the thing, the injection, the anaesthesia, and they go like, count backwards from 10, and you go 10, 9, 8, and then I heard somebody go, whoops, you don't want that, do you? You don't like your... What do you mean?
I shall tell you. 25% of Brits find that a bath helps them nod off.
Oh.
It is very dangerous to fall asleep in the bath. I keep myself awake by constantly making toast. So at the end of that round, it's 3 points for Sean's team and 5 points for Dave's team. Our next round is word association. We've polled the nation and asked people to give us the word or phrase that popped into their heads when we said the following things. OK, everyone, here's your first clip.
And here comes Alan Collier from Doncaster. His hobbies include Taekwondo, which is a form of the martial arts, a bit like karate. You do not argue with Alan Collier.
That was Alan Collier, winner of the 1980 Yorkshire Disco Dance Championships. What I'm looking for is the top 3 things the British public said when we said the 1980s.
Can I just say, isn't television shit nowadays? If that was on every channel, 24 hours a day, I'd have square eyes.
I'd like to have him in a snow shaker. just constantly dancing like that.
What must his life have been like in Yorkshire? The locals must have constantly been laying siege to his house like the end of Frankenstein or something. Kill the disco dancer.
He's just great, isn't he, Alan Collier?
Can we watch it again?
That's all right, have another look.
And here comes Alan Collier from Doncaster. You do not argue with Alan Collier.
Not only do you not argue with Alan Collier, you don't talk to him.
Had he just come from the pits when he dressed like that? Do you reckon he talked like that? And he was like, fucking hell, zip.
Is this why they started closing down the mines? Because this is what they were getting up to.
Top 3 answers that the public most associated with the 1980s.
Orgies. Thatcher.
Yes, it is. Second most commonly associated phrase with the word or phrase with the 1980s.
Aha!
Do you mean the band, or have you just thought of something brilliant?
The band, or as they're known in more curious countries, aha!
I can't decide if it's Fame the Musical or the Iranian embassy siege.
You were quite close with Fame.
Leroy.
Leg warmers.
Leg warmers. Yes, it was.
Wow.
You've still got to get the most commonly associated word with the 1980s.
The mullet. The mullets were big, weren't they?
I am going to give you that. Yes, the phrase most associated with the 1980s was bad hair. OK, here's your next one. That was, of course, the world-famous water-skiing monkeys of Japan to illustrate the word animals. Fingers on buzzers, what word or phrase did the nation most associate with animals?
You think they would have put those monkeys on those inflatable bananas? It would have looked more...
I think this is the new Neverland. Jackson's latest project.
The thing is, they wouldn't do it if they didn't like it.
Exactly.
They love it.
Yeah.
They've got the option to bail out and have a swim.
Well, since the PG Tips work dried up, you know, they're all working as reps now. I just don't know how a monkey is driving a speedboat. Because you can't trust a monkey. You can train it, you can never trust it.
Yeah.
You speak from bitter experience, I imagine.
If they can send a monkey into space, surely this is nothing. Surely this is a step down for the boys.
It's just the monkeys at NASA pissing about on the day off.
They're having a bit of me time.
When we said animals, what do you think popped into the British public's minds?
Shagging. When I was a kid, dogs on our street, you couldn't go out in the street. They were just doing it, weren't they? Just pushing each other up and down the street. My mum told me they were dancing.
That story is both quaint and disgusting.
It is. And very unsettling because the first school disco I went to, I got expelled. Is it super furry?
The number one answer was fur. OK, what other word would you associate with animals?
Shit.
You're absolutely right.
That never happened on Family Fortunes, did it?
What other word would you associate with animals? What are they? They're lovely.
Adorable.
Adorable is along the right line.
Lovable.
Friendly.
Cute. Cuddly.
Cute. Who said cute? You were right. So at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean's team have 6 points and Dave's team have 11 points. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls, and it's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. This is taken from a survey featured in The Independent, November 2004. The most annoying thing about a work colleague.
They're always going on about their fucking Blackberries. Who cares? It's just a little bit of plastic that does emails. I'm not bothered about it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I get my emails anywhere I go, so it's...
Is it sometimes that you do a panel show and the person in the middle refuses to wear trousers? It's not very like show, like that's abuse.
You used to work in a call centre, didn't you?
Bartley card lost and stolen.
He's not lost, has he?
Still got it.
Was there no annoying habits there?
Yes, they had this one day we had to come in as a sports theme and no one could be bothered and we're going, who's going to fall for this shit? Just as our supervisor came round dressed as a jockey. And then you get 2 swear words said to you throughout the call. You have every right legally to terminate the call. So I used to egg them on. Can you speak up, you fat bitch?
OK, most annoying thing about a work colleague?
Or when they bring a baby in, when they just had a baby. And they bring a baby, I've got a baby. So what? I'm trying to work. I don't want to look at a baby. It's horrible. It's ugly. Oh, no, we're going to have a look. Touch my baby. They don't say that, actually.
There's always someone as well at work who comes in when they've got a day off. You know what I mean? Just to show what they look like in their jeans.
Most annoying thing about a work colleague, it's hygiene related.
BO, body odour.
Correct. Yes, the most annoying thing about a work colleague is body odour. I imagine it's particularly bad if you work in a sweatshop. OK, this is from a survey featured in The Times, July 2004. Greatest British Olympian.
Is it that one with the tash? Fatima Whitbread.
Is it Jeff Capes, the world's strongest man, and officially he still is, but he's so strong he's not allowed to enter anymore?
Do you know the thing about Jeff Capes, really interesting thing about him, is he keeps budgies. And you just imagine all that strength, and but he can pick up a little budgie. And then go...
He's had a checkered history, though, to be fair, Jeff. He used to work at the Yellow Pages factory, but he got sacked for destroying stock.
Why do they put that world's strongest man thing on at Christmas?
Fucking brilliant.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's a load of shit, and it? A man pulling a mobile home, and from there to there. Why do they have it on?
A man lifting big round stone balls, and they get heavier, and he's got to put them up on a higher thing each time. That, to me, is genius.
They're not strong, they're just fat. Aren't they? They're just obese, and they should be the world's fattest That's what they should say.
This is Stephen Redgrave.
Steve Redgrave is number 2.
Is it Sebastian Coe?
Yes, it is.
Sebastian Coe. Well done.
This one's from a YouGov survey from April this year. Top female sexual fantasy. Ian Lee.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Apparently so. To be told they've got lovely boobs by a stranger. I don't know, a builder or something. They love it, don't they?
Is it, like, just something very simple, like maybe a phone call 3 days later?
Is it wearing a gimp mask and being pulled around on a chain like a dog? I mean, women aren't my strong point.
Top female sexual fantasy.
It's something romantic,
It's something
isn't it?
kind of nice.
Is it like roses?
I'm going to tell you. The top female sexual fantasy is sex with a regular partner. Well, ladies, I'm regular. Eat a lot of bran. Well, that sound tells me that it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means that the final scores are Sean's team have 9 points, but Dave is the winner with 13 points. Thank you to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.